All right, so this is my second day, and I'm in Gilbert, Minnesota. So I spent, by the way, it's my friend Luke. I met him on a reality show, and we've been in touch for pretty much since the reality show. Once we were able to get like our phones and our contact, and
Find each other, right? I
yeah,
think we found each other on like the Facebook group.
I think
For the wheel or
this
something?
chick named
Yeah.
Lindsay, she was like the catalyst of sort of piecing everybody together, I believe.
I found her, which was really hard after the show because all I knew was everybody's first names. So I knew Sean, didn't know how to spell it. I knew Sean, I knew Lindsay, Adam, right, Kat, and Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started looking for people, and I found Lindsay, which was really hard because I was searching for a fitness model named Lindsay in Los Angeles.
Oh, LA.
Yeah,
That was probably hard.
Every single one of them is a Lindsay, right?
Yep.
All spelled differently. So yeah, found Lindsay, and then it all kind of fell together. And yeah, since then we've hung out a few times and went to Jamaica once. That
Yeah,
was
we all
really
we all
fun.
did a group trip, but so like this is part of the reason why I'm here in Minnesota. Y'all know I'm trying to get like my little travel YouTube thing going, and I think when I watch a lot of travel channels, it's always exotic locations, and I think
You don't think Gilbert, Minnesota is exotic?
it's cool, it's relaxing, but I think people forget that sometimes you got good spots like right in your backyard, and not even when I say backyard, like of course the state aware or whatever, but like I said, it's my second day here, and of course your vacation's only going to be as good as your company, so
So it's mediocre.
yeah, I mean you can go to Thailand, and if you got bad company, you gonna have a bad trip. But yeah, I met him on the show, and in that survival situation, it's a weird bond to where me and him are cool, but just sharing that experience it's a weird type of camaraderie thing. He made it 60 days, I made it 30. And him and Adam, they were the only two that made it the full 60 days. So I'm just happy to come back, and he welcomed me up here to chill with his family and friends. So I just want y'all to know a little brief history about him. And I'm gonna have to cut him short because both of us can talk forever. So I'm gonna just try to keep this segment like under 10 minutes. We'll probably go over that. But yeah, man, like what do you want to say?
Oh man, well, like he was talking about the camaraderie and just shared experiences is really cool. So to be able to build new experiences with the basis of like old experiences is really fun. So I mean, last night, out on the pontoon and going to a fire with friends and sitting in a hot tub till what? I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. We were out there
Yeah,
talking and stuff, and just so much fun.
And y'all can't be scared to try new stuff in life. We're both in our 40s, and the older you get, you just got to push through. You got to be cool with knowing that you might be the only white person in a group of black people. You got to be cool knowing that you're gonna be the only black person
In the
at a
state.
country club
In the state.
Yeah. And I tell you what, it was fun. I had more fun than I thought it was last night. I thought it was gonna be sort of boring and lame, and I kept telling them, you can feel my vibe. I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to go to this ritzy, fancy country club stuff, and it was cool. I had a real good time.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I know you were a little apprehensive.
Yeah.
It's country club. What's it going to be like? And I mean, the people here are just so chill, and it's not like what you see on TV.
Yeah, and I haven't seen
movies,
one,
right?
and it's cool because I haven't seen one cop, so I get nervous about new towns and stuff, and man, everybody, they sort of just stick together. They had their own. It had that feeling of where I know some people don't like that feeling where everybody knows their business, but everybody was cool. I didn't feel like nobody had a problem with anybody else there. Everybody was cool, legit. I feel like they have a community, especially when I hear how you guys do stuff around wintertime.
Yeah.
I thought that stuff is dope because I don't have that at all where I live, like in the city. Everybody just sort of tries to mind their business. So,
Right.
but yeah, man. So can you give like a short thing just about your version of just what you went through, like brief, because we'll talk for an hour about this, but
Oh yeah. I mean,
just
yeah.
how start from start to finish real quick, and just how do you feel like it might have made you a better person overall?
Yeah. So in 2013, I actually got diagnosed with stage 3 thyroid cancer.
That's right.
And
Yep.
they gave me a good scar here to prove it, pull the whole thing out. And after beating cancer and going through that process, I wanted to show the world that there's life after cancer. You don't quit, you don't give up, you keep fighting, you keep going forward. I also wanted to show my boys that with, hard work, determination, you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. And I started taking on kind of unique challenges and things afterwards to kind of prove that. And this email came along that said survive in the wilderness for 60 days on a reality survival show. And I said, that sounds like a blast. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that, right? So I signed up for it, and I told Amy what I had done and said, is it all right if I'm gone for 2 months? And she said, oh, they'll never pick you. Guy from northern
That's
Minnesota.
what my girl said about me too.
Yeah, and why would they pick us,
Yeah.
But, get out on the show and, go to the Amazon to start with. And it's just like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right?
I got punched
Amazon,
all over.
Yeah, got punched square in the mouth, set me back. And I thought, this is impossible. Nobody can make it 60 days. And it really taught me to take things one day at a time, which I had learned going through cancer as well, and kind of repeat that, lesson. But I mean, just to be able to push yourself to the limits. And I mean, Sean talks about, how long we were out there. The challenge was 60 days. So I made it all 60 days, and so did Adam. And other people got to obstacles that they couldn't get past, and, had to either.
And we all had our own obstacles and different. If you made it to like a location I was at, you had a different obstacle sometimes to overcome. So it's weird.
And so, I having done it once, I could never say, oh, I can do it again. Because who knows? The circumstances change. Yeah, exactly. The weather changes, I get a big storm at the wrong time or get wet, and I'm done. Like, Kat she got wet in the first few days she was out there.
She
and started to get hypothermic, and she's done within a week. So it's interesting because I never got pushed to my extreme limit to the breaking point, and some people did. And so in a sense, I kind of almost feel like I missed out a little bit because I didn't get.
You still wanted to get filled with your breaking point.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I don't know where
a weird
it is.
thing that people like us. Yeah,
right. So that's kind of a unique perspective on it that I have now, and it really taught me to be thankful for things. That was just such a huge part of succeeding out there, was just every time there was any opportunity to find anything thankful. I mean, the little larva that was eating the Amazon, or, there was one time I was trapped in the tundra. He was there as well. And it was, I was under this little tiny shelter tarp I had made, and it's raining and pouring rain for like 18 hours, trapped under this little, just stretched a tarp out. And my feet were wet, my hands were wet, my head was wet. And I was wet all over, and I was cold, and I was shivering. And I remember just laying there thinking, you know what? This little spot right here is dry.
Yeah.
And I just focused on that little dry spot. It's not too cold, and finding those small things to be thankful for was, I think, probably the biggest lesson I learned from that. And I think it's really helped me to be a little better than I was before. Still a little room for improvement, but it was such a great experience. And now, so I get to travel around and talk to groups about what I went through. He gets to do public speaking
about just about not only what he did, but to correlate it in everyday life that we take for granted. I still do to this day, and I catch myself, or I have friends remind me, and they're like, Sean, you can do whatever you want to do. You've done a lot. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have.
Right.
But we can be hard critics on ourselves, especially men and women too, because we just frustrate ourselves sometimes. And I have to have, even after the stuff I've done in the service and the show and other things, I still forget, like, oh yeah, I've done badass stuff and I can continue, but I stray away sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We are our own worst, critic sometimes. But the cool thing about going through a trial and a difficulty is that when a new trial comes up, you kind of have like a monument set and you say, hey, I beat that. Right. And something new comes up and I get to go and say, hey, I beat that before. Right. I can beat this now. And it's kind of cool to be able to look at it that way. And that's why I think it's so great for kids. And we try to create, an experience for our children that challenges them, pushes them a little bit, and is hard and difficult in certain areas, because then they can look back at those later and say, okay, yeah, this new challenge that's coming, that's not too bad. I can take this, and that's a great thing to be able to learn and experience. So yeah, it's been awesome. I got to travel all over the world and talk about my experiences and lessons through survival. And it's been really rewarding for me and helpful for a lot of people. It's really interesting because you wouldn't think that, starving in your underwear, trying to hunt piranha in your, in the Amazon is really applicable to everyday life.
Yeah, you
But
can
some
break
of
it
those
down.
connections, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that people come up to me afterwards and say, "What you said helped me in this area because it connected to this and this connections I would never make."
Yep.
So that's really really neat to be able to see.
He has a YouTube also. Is it just your first and last name?
Yeah, Luke Soderling on YouTube. There's some fun videos on there, just some crazy stuff that
Yep.
we do, and it's very much a hodgepodge.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
But so before I wrap this up, I want to say, shake your hand. we definitely had a good time last night, and
That
just
was a lot of
catching
fun.
up with everybody. But he's a first. I've met with everybody in the group except one, but you're the first person when it just dawned on me when I was coming up to visit, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this travel thing, and I'm like, I also want to. I've never interviewed or had a quick breakdown with anybody from the show.
Sure.
Even when I met with Lindsay, like, so I'm happy that you're doing this. My goal is to one day have everybody do just a little segment like
That'd be
this.
fun. Yeah,
So,
no, I'd love to see that. That'd be great.
I think it would just be cool for me to something to check on, once a year or go back because it's now on my channel, and just like we sort of go back and might look at clips of what we done.
Yep.
And I'm like, dang, I didn't really forget about that, but it escaped my mind. I think it'd be dope for me to do like you're the first one, and then just knock out some other people eventually for doing some videos with. But
That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah.
If y'all ever get a chance, come to obviously Duluth, but he's in Gilbert, and man, they got a country club, the Esquagama.
Esquagma, that's right.
Yeah, so it's I like it here. Second day, I got another day and a half, and man, I appreciate you once again having me with your family.
This is great. Glad you were able to make it.
And check out his YouTube.